What's that one item you know you'll never use, but still carry anyway? It makes me kind of hate myself for it, so I'll go first then.
And it's top liner lock, which is now my new favorite lock.
It is kind of like a liner lock where you have to press down on something, but it's on the top of the knife. Do you prefer rechargeable internal batteries or replaceable? Does it matter? This is something I feel we can actually give a real answer to, right? I think we're qualified to do this. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Carry the Way, the weekly podcast where we nerd out about all things EDC gear and maybe try to teach you a thing or two while we're at it. I'm Bernard, the founder of Everydaycarry.com, and I'm joined by our editor, Mikey.
Hello.
So if you're new to the show, welcome. Here we talk about the latest in EDC gear, answer questions from the community, and review pocket dump submissions from our viewers. And if you've listened before, we just want to say thank you so much for all the support. And just a quick reminder to give a thumbs up to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, as it really helps the channel. And I think by now we've got over 1,000 subs.
Woo!
So thanks so much for helping us get to this milestone, and we'll figure out actual giveaways we'll do on the channel. It'll be really fun.
But you gotta clear your closet, man.
I know, dude. This room behind me is just full of samples from all of 2024, basically. And I don't have the pockets or the time to carry all of it. So we'll give it to the people who love gear the most, and that's you guys. So we'll figure that out soon. But for now, Mikey, why don't we start with a pocket check like usual?
Cool. Yeah. Lately there have been a lot of dog walks, like I mentioned in last week's episode. So I am
Must be nice.
rotating a lot through flashlights, and I pulled this out from the closet. This is the Surefire Stiletto Pro 2. It's their only line that uses the rechargeable batteries, because generally Surefire lights use the CR123 battery. So this is the latest one of their USB-C chargeable one. It's got dual LEDs. I forget what the power output is, but it's pretty powerful. It's got an instant turbo as usual, per usual for tactical flashlights for Surefire. Really like this. When I'm walking the dog, just attach it to the strap of my bag. If I'm wearing one, makes it really handy, and nice and bright and rechargeable. So that's pretty fun. And the other one, we'll get to it in our news section, but this is the one I've been carrying lately. This is the Vosteed Marten. It's their latest knife design. It's aluminum handles, 154 cm blade, and I really, really like it. We can talk about it later, but
Okay.
I think this is my favorite Vosteed of the year, to be honest. But yeah, so those are the new stuff. One something new and one something more not so recent. But yeah, that's the latest roundup. How about you?
Nothing too new, I think. I'm actually like carrying less and trying to not think about that as much, because maybe over the past few episodes it's been clear that like I was kind of overthinking a lot of the stuff. True. And just carry like kind of what I have and not switch things out so much or try to optimize for it, and then just remember like my stuff is covered. It's fine. And yeah, and a lot of the stuff I do want to save for the news and like the Q&A section. So I'll show those a little bit later in the show.
Let's stick to the wear the same watch every day philosophy.
Okay, I might as well say that then, because today I have on my like family heirloom watch that I usually never wear, but I started to wear it today, and I think just out of curiosity to see how it's running, I will continue to wear it maybe like a week straight or something. So this is the Rolex Explorer 2 Polar Swiss only dial from 1999. So it's like a cool neo vintage piece. Yeah, great year.
Great year.
Y2K.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so very cool. I don't know, Rolex doesn't really resonate with me much these days, but it's still in the collection, and I should give everything some appreciation and wrist time. But before that, how about we appreciate the sponsor of today's video, Ridge. Today's episode is presented by our parent company, Ridge. Ridge is best known for their premium minimalist metal EDC wallets with RFID blocking technology and a lifetime warranty. But they make all sorts of EDC gear these days, like knives, key cases, wedding bands, machine pens, backpacks, and hardshell luggage too. I use their products every day, and so do a ton of other people with over 50,000 5-star reviews. You can try them out with a 99-day risk-free trial to see if you like them. And now is the best time to try out Ridge for yourself or to gift for a loved one because they're running a huge holiday sale, and this is your last chance to make the holiday shipping cutoff. So upgrade your EDC with Ridge at ridge.com/carrytheway for 10% off your order. It supports the show, and thanks again to Ridge for sponsoring today's episode. Okay, so jumping into our news section, this is basically an extension of your pocket dump, is it not, Mikey?
Yeah, so the Vosteed Marten is their latest model. By the time this comes out, they should have restocked because it has been going in and out of stock the past few weeks because of how popular it's been. And there's a lot I really, really like about this knife. They have released some aluminum handled knives over this year. The Hedgehog comes to mind as the most, and the Ankylo as two of the more recent ones. But I think they perfected it with this one. I don't know what they changed, but the aluminum handle on this with its micro texture, there, if for those listening on just audio, check out the images we put on screen on the YouTube video. But there are some micro milling that's happening on the handles, and they're just really, really nice. There's not, I don't get any skin transfer like I was getting from, I don't know, I have really ashy fingers, man. I somehow get when the aluminum texture is bad, I get a lot of skin transfer
Yeah.
from other knives, especially from the ones I mentioned, the Ankylo and the Hedgehog. But for this one feels really, really smooth. It's really, really light because it's just aluminum. Blade steel is decent. It's 154 cm, pretty tough. And it's top liner lock, which is now becoming my
Mm-hmm.
new favorite lock. So it's technically truly ambidextrous. I would say lefties have an advantage with top liner lock with the button on the left side.
Wait, it
I think
is technically truly or not truly?
technically usable ambidextrously, but it's designed still for a righty. It's
Yeah.
not perfectly symmetrical on both sides, is
Okay,
what I'm
can I
saying.
just be that guy and be pedantic and say,
Sure.
because this has happened to me where I've made that claim in like a TikTok or something, and then
Okay.
somebody goes, well, actually, ambidextrous means that you can use it exactly the same way, either hand. And that is not true of this because
That
the
is not true.
liner, right.
Yeah.
So top liner locks, and I think most liner and frame locks cannot be truly ambidextrous, but
No.
things like crossbar lock can be, or spine lock, or not spine lock. What's it called?
Super
Like
lock.
a spine mounted, like super lock, or what is that is the shark lock. That's what I was thinking of.
Shark lock, yeah.
Shark lock or super
The
lock. Yeah.
Demko
So
shark lock. That's right.
yeah, so here's like a shark lock, right? This is the Tyro that we were talking about before, and then this is just mounted on the spine, and this can be used either hand.
Yeah.
But a top liner lock, yeah, it is kind of like a liner lock where you have to press down on something, but it's on the top of the knife, and then instead of down here. And then the cool thing that I like about the way Vosteed implements this is they have a little kind of proud button almost to press
Mm,
in the liner. So we can throw up some B-roll showing how that works, but it is very nice to use, and it's slightly different than say just like a regular button lock, right? Or even like a Spyderco compression lock. It works a little bit differently the way
true.
that Vosteed implements it in their knives.
The other underrated thing I really like about this is the thumb studs are slightly thicker than the handle, which gives me amazing grip on flicking it and for opening it. It's got
Mm,
the right amount of comfort and smoothness, but it is a little bit thicker than the handles, which means you know exactly where they are. Your thumb is going to hit them, or your middle finger in the back is always going to hit it for flicking it. So I really like these thumb studs, and it's on both sides. And yeah, people have been complaining about the clip. It's a little subpar for Vosteed. They usually like recessed clips, and then there's
mm-hmm.
a spacer on the other side where if you switch the clip on either side. So they didn't do it this time. The clip for this time is protruding with the screws. So some people
Yeah.
didn't like that. Said that kind of snags on your pants sometimes. So other people have been swapping out different clips from other brands to perfect this knife. But as it is, I like all of the pros of it with minus with The only con probably being the clip. But other than that, I just really, really like it. This is probably the surprise hit for me from Vosteed this year. So that's the Martin. Well,
Okay.
what are your first impressions for it?
Well, first, I want to let the listeners know it's a 2.98-inch blade,
Mm,
so sub 3 inch.
sub three.
Yeah, my impression of this was I was surprised that this is a Vosteed knife.
Oh, is that positive or negative?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I just thought that for a Vosteed knife, this looks a little plain, but the
Okay.
actual execution of it is what I would expect of Vosteed. It is done well, but I liked the Ankelo, for example, which is really weird. It's like angular and it had like a snubby blade shape, and then it had a thumb disc and like all this stuff. So that was kind of weird and out there, and that's kind of what I think of when it comes to Vosteed designs now. And
Mm,
also, I also think of Vosteed as having so many different ways to deploy. This is just the dual thumb studs, which is like the safest, tried and true deployment method. So
mm,
that also threw me off. They're more. I have this association of more fidget friendly type stuff. Not that this isn't fidgety and the action isn't good or anything. It is
mm,
really good, but it just struck me as like this is a very straightforward kind of knife for Vosteed, and it does well. And maybe this will be the knife that gets a lot of people into Vosteed who might look at their other options and think like, oh, that's just like, Fidget Factory, or it's a gimmick or something. And then, but this is a very no nonsense, I think, well executed knife. I haven't put it too much to use yet because I think we just got these, or I
mm.
just got mine not too long ago.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
You know what's interesting? You also were kind of lukewarm when I was raving about the raccoon last year. And that was my
Mm,
favorite knife of 2023. And that was the one that got you started on the whole everything starting to look like the bug out train, remember?
yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
and this is exactly giving me that same feeling when I started using the raccoon for the first time. I feel like this, in its simplicity and its execution, really, really appeals to me for some reason.
Okay.
It just hooks me in, just like how the raccoon did last year. That's why
Uh
this is
huh.
a surprise hit for me. Even though like the psyop came out this year, which is I thought would be my kind of knife, but then I haven't been carrying it as much because it's something's kind of throwing me off. I've been putting it also against the Laconico. What was the name of that one? The titanium one that came out, the Valhand that
Oh
came
yeah.
out
Yeah.
last month. That was really, really premium, super premium, really nice design. But I kind of still prefer this one. I don't know. It
Mhm.
really out of the box and first flick. It just gave me that same feeling as what really turned me on to the raccoon last year. So I
Well,
don't
I
know.
think,
It's
but
just some
I think
sauce that I like.
the raccoon and the Marden are similar, at least in my perspective. You're saying it has some sauce. I'm saying like it doesn't have sauce, or it has the most basic, widely used
Just
sauce
salt and
as a
pepper.
base flavor. Yeah, exactly. Like that kind of seasoning. Like, okay, there's some dishes that just lack salt and pepper entirely, and like that's
Mm,
on them. But it just doesn't have that unique design, like that strikingly unique design DNA that I'm used to from so many of other Vosteed's other offerings.
mm.
But I let me pose a question to you then. Do you think that the future 2025 knife like trend will look like this?
No, I actually think.
You think this will not replace the 3-ish inch crossbar bar?
Oh,
You know what I mean? That meta. Do you think this is the new meta?
I think top liner lock sub 3 inch is gonna be the new base meta. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. But I have been noticing that the other knife companies are branching out with more designers and more out there designs,
Hmm.
just deviating from the old bug out look that we got for all of last year and for this year.
Yeah.
So there is some hope there. Yeah, I think so. But as a baseline knife, decent budget steel plus aluminum handles and or maybe a titanium option or micarta, probably the most common, and top liner lock. I think this is going to be I'm thinking that a lot more people are going to be onto the top liner lock rather than the regular spring plunge lock button locks that have been coming out.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely confident that this can replace the meta from crossbar style
Hmm.
knives or even button locks, which I think were getting more popular, just because I don't know if we'll see this possible at a $40 price point, $30 price point.
Okay,
Top
fair.
liner lock. and
Yeah.
and also what makes this such a great knife is the micro mill texture aluminum handle. And
Hmm.
again, I don't know that that can be done for at that price point. I'm like whatever about the 154 cm.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not really. It's right there in the mid tier of
Hmm.
steels. Yeah, maybe probably a step up from D2 and 14C,
Yeah.
28N, and all of those. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, very quickly, let's look at some of the other colors here that are probably all sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have like this jade green kind of thing, purple and black stone wash, the
So what do
orange
you
one that
have?
I have, and then you have the gray one,
Yeah,
right?
the all silver one. That's right.
And then like this sort of rose gold and black. They call it what?
Yeah,
Black
the
copper
copper.
dune.
Yeah, copper PVD, I believe, plus black,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
becoming a really popular color combination recently.
Hmm.
I'm seeing that kind of everywhere these days.
This like brownish color.
Yeah, the copper PVD.
Pantone 2025, baby.
Oh yeah, mocha,
Yeah, mocha.
mocha.
So in right now. All right.
Righty.
So let's see. I'm curious how people respond to this. I think by the time this comes out, I would have already had like a little TikTok or something with my
Mhm.
thoughts on this, and then we'll see what people have to say.
And I also
Because
want to know what people think will be the 2025 meta. I think that we are seeing an unprecedented variety in the whole knife community.
yeah,
Everybody's trying out weird new designs, and I honestly can't make any prediction of what 2025 is going to look like, which is kind of exciting. Blade show next year should be pretty wild, honestly.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we'll see as early as Shot Show in a month. So
Hmm.
stay tuned. All right, next. Speaking of something that you would see at Shot Show, boom! What is this? It looks kind
Ooh,
of like a mystery ranch,
the
but it's
controversial
yeah.
new.
So this is the Yeti Bozeman 27-liter backpack.
Yeah.
Very familiar.
So getting out of the way, Bozeman is in reference to, is that Montana, where
Yeah,
Mystery Ranch is based out
mystery
of?
ranches. Yep.
Yeah. So this is the first Mystery Ranch ish looking silhouette from Yeti after they acquired Mystery Ranch as a brand. So we
Yeah.
don't know yet the full details of what the future plans are going to be, but right now, what Yeti have done is they've taken I believe the base platform is the 2DAP, the 2-day assault pack. That is the
Hmm.
kind of like what this is reminding everybody of. And then they cleaned it up a bit. They made it kind of like a slick design. They put water bottle pockets on it. They've kept the Futura harness, which is the shoulder straps and the whole back portion of it. There's a whole Velcro system where you can adjust it up and down to account for different torso sizes. I haven't experienced it myself, but apparently it's one of the most comfortable harnesses for adjusting and perfecting to your shoulder strap.
Yeah.
But it takes the classic tri zip design that Mystery Ranch is known for their assault packs, and yeah, they slapped a Yeti patch on it. It comes with another elk elk patch on it, and it's drumming up a lot of conversation from what I've seen when this came out. People are Some people are saying, "Oh no, this is the beginning of the end, doom and gloom." Some people are saying, "Dude, if this was still Mystery Ranch, you would be all over it because it
Yeah,
is,
I know.
yeah,
Yeah,
because it is
but
still a,
now
yeah."
it's with Yeti, who's a
Mhm.
way bigger company and can reach so many more people and really scale this up. So
Yeah.
yeah, that could be the start of something really big for Mystery Ranch, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily spell doom and gloom, but if you are like that enthusiast type who appreciated Mystery Ranch for how tight they kept it and very focused on their mission
Mhm.
and stuff like that, then this could
People
be
don't like
concerning.
change. People don't like change.
Yeah, but then they also complain about things being the same.
I know,
And
right?
then they make a YouTube video about it, and then like people hate that, So
My
uh
my general thought is I think the bag looks sick. I like the slick design. I like the features they've done, such as the compression straps are removable, the bottle pockets are there. It actually even kind of reminds me of the Dior collaboration between Mystery Ranch and Dior.
mhm,
Those backpacks kind of look more like this than the regular Mystery Ranch backpacks or the Mystery Ranch collaboration backpacks with
right.
Carryology. So I like this whole slick. They also did something
Yeah.
similar to this
Mikey,
with
you're
the.
saying you're saying the word slick a lot. For people who
Oh, sorry.
probably
Yeah.
aren't in the know, what do you mean by slick? And
So
how is that
slick,
different from the base Mystery Ranch design language?
yeah. So slick generally means removing things that make it look more military or tactical. In this case, it generally means removing the molly or the pulse webbing off of
Yeah.
the base assault packs, which come heavily since that's the main purpose of it. It used to be a tactical or
Yeah.
yeah, military, not inspired, military purpose type bag. So slick generally means removing any extraneous straps or zippers or any outward.
Attachment points for
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So no hit chunky D rings, no Grimlock,
Mhm.
Grimlock attachments, not a lot of hardware or external webbing to signify that it's like to overcomplicate the exterior design. So
Right.
this is
And then
more of like
I think that positions the bag just more in an outdoor or urban use rather
yes.
than fully tactical or yeah, outdoor for the tactical people, hunt, fish, that kind of stuff.
And this isn't even the first time Mystery Ranch or Yeti have done something like this. I believe it was last year. Mystery Ranch came out with a bag called the Catalyst, which was kind of like their assault pack, but completely urbanized. It's no extra straps or anything. It's a lot more urban based colors.
Hmm.
It's a lot friendlier in design, but it still came with a tri zip design as well, similar to this. So this is kind of like the second attempt already at making a more urban and more mainstream type of
Yeah.
everyday pack. And bottom line for me, I kind of like it. I love all of the features they've done with it. I'm trying to get my hands on one to see how it would fare like a daily pack and just to compare it to the other stuff I've tried. And it's 27 liters, I believe, is the
Yeah.
capacity for this. So it's a little bit on the
Yeah.
larger side. Yeah.
27 liters. And it's interesting that their entire loadout is just the climbing setup.
Climbing side.
Personally, I don't know if I would carry my climbing shoes in the backpack because that starts to get funky real quick.
Just a raw dogging the used
Yeah, I
shoes.
I would like to have a not slick version of the bag so that I can attach a carabiner to the outside and have my shoes aired out, but I
Fair,
don't
fair.
know. So for some context, like Yeti, they wanted to expand beyond drinkware, right? So then they brought in technical soft goods designers from I think North Face and maybe Patagonia, something like that.
Mhm.
And from there, let me double check. Was it Patagonia? Um, I think it was the Patagonia and the North Face, like of course. So they had those technical soft goods designers from the outdoor space, right? To, and then I think they ended up making like cooler bags, like very drinkware focused bags, and that just did not work. So then that led to just let's just get Mystery Ranch. Everyone loves Mystery Ranch; they're really good, and yeah, and then this is what we ended up with, right? So be very interesting to see.
Have you have, have you had experience with the tri-zip system? One of our writers really likes the tri-zip.
I've just like I haven't carried one or anything. I've seen it. I've tried it hands on and stuff at
In the
like
store.
shot show and trade shows and whatever.
Yeah.
Just like seeing their new bags and handling it. It is. It just feels too visually and like experientially complex for me. I know
Mhm.
you just like rip it open, but that's not really my speed. I like the slowly just like opening a U zip 3/4 full length U zip. I think that's what I'm into.
You don't like the full alien chest burster appearance of it when it's all fully
Like
open.
this? Yeah. Nah, not really.
I kind of see the appeal. I know why people like it. It's you can access it from top or from either side, and it makes it
Yeah,
very
yeah.
convenient with the system. I don't know. I don't have enough experience the same as you. I've only tried it in the store, so I am trying to get my hands on it to see to give the first hands on for it and see what it's about. And I do need a bag in this size
Yeah. And I would
for
say
ED
I'm
carry.
probably not the target demo user for this type of assault pack, you know. it,
You're not
even
really
even in
assaulting
this more
much.
yeah, even in this more urbanized like slick configuration that's literally like styled for a rock climber, like I don't know if I'm carrying this loadout in that way. So
We'll get you next time, Kapulon.
yeah, yeah. All right. Speaking of gear that might get me the next time, why don't we jump into? Oh, sorry. Let's give some more context of this piece because we talk so much about the story of it and what it looks like, but for the more practical specs, it is $275. Okay,
Ooh, yeah, okay,
so
yeah.
it is coming from Yeti and Mystery Ranch, right? So it's more on the premium end, I would say.
That is another
So
pain point that people are
yeah,
bringing up. That
just
it's
keep that in mind.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
tad more expensive than the base 2DAP, but I think
yeah,
it does bring a lot to the table. Plus, it's got the DNA of both Yeti and Mystery Ranch, and I think
yeah.
it's yeah. I would. This is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think with Yeti comes a lot of just the other benefits of having a bigger company. I'm not sure what like the returns and warranties were for Mystery Ranch, to be honest. But
Mhm.
you get a 3-year one here, and then just the customer service and support of Yeti. I don't know if that's better or worse, to be honest. I haven't dealt with either of them. Um, but yeah, and then
Let us know
275 comes in Cam Green, comes in black, and then Alpine Brown. Yeah,
which is coyote.
I know.
Which is yeah.
Yeah. So much for like not so tactically coded, but these are basically the trinity of tactical gear colors. Okay, now let's jump into gear that'll get me. So this is one from Casio G-Shock.
Mm,
It's the DW
taking
5000R-1A.
taking
It
it
looks
all the
like
way
an
back.
old G-Shock, but it says it's new. Yeah. So what do we got, Mikey? This is
Sure.
40-year anniversary.
Yep. So this is
Mm-hmm.
a recreation of the original square G Shock, the one that started it all. And my understanding is I haven't fully looked into it. My understanding is it's a perfect recreation of the original one with one slight difference where it
Mm-hmm.
says 20 bar there on the dial.
Mm-hmm.
On the original one it says 200 meters or 200 feet.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
other than that, they copied us not copied, they recreated everything down to the dimples on the strap. And yeah, so if you will we have the photos on screen, but at the core of it is a stainless steel case wrapped
Mm-hmm.
in the resin that you're probably more familiar with if you've owned a G-Shock. And the thing about this is there's a couple of conflicting things for people who would think to pick this up. Number one is it's over $200, and you're not
Oh,
getting a lot of G-Shock for that $200 because it only comes with the base alarm plus I believe
yeah.
stopwatch plus 200-meter water resistance. You're not getting the ones that people really look for, which is tough solar, multiband 6. You're not getting Bluetooth or anything. So this is as close to the original module, the original digital quartz module of the original. You're not even getting
Mm-hmm.
an electroluminescent backlight. You're getting an LED backlight as well.
Yeah, that's
So
what stood out to me. It's not EL, it's LED.
yeah, I
Yeah.
really I really don't like LED backlights for G Shocks. I always lean towards the EL ones, like the
EL looks
6800.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's more even, but I think it takes uses more energy. So that's
Oh,
probably and it's
fair,
probably
fair.
cheaper to use LED. I'm not sure, but I that's what I imagine.
So the thing is, the on the flip side of that, so there's a lot of cons there. On the positive side of that is you're not they don't do it often where they recreate the original G-Shock, and when they do, they always sell out really fast. Not that this
Uh-huh.
didn't sell fast. This already sold out fast, from my understanding. And the original one plus the recreations all fetch like really really high prices on the secondary.
Yeah.
So every time it comes out, it's kind of like an event, obviously because it's the original G-Shock, but people want that recreation. People really like the recreations. If you check eBay for all of the versions of the
Mhm.
recreations, are always really expensive. The original 5000C, I believe, goes up to like $2,000 $3,000 at eBay from when I last checked. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
That's like
so
the original like vintage
yeah, the
reference.
original one
Is
from
what you're saying.
19,
I see, I
yeah,
see.
from
So when you're
80.
saying people really like these recreations, who are the people you're describing? Because these are probably G-Shock collectors, not just like random people who are like, I want a tough G-Shock for work, and then they go and buy
No,
a
yeah,
recreation. Probably not, right?
these are the people collecting Pokemon cards, first
Uh-huh.
generation. It
Okay.
is definitely a collector's piece. I think that is the main target for this. That is the main
Yeah.
people this is being marketed to. Um,
That's kind of where I was going with it. Yeah, because when I
yeah,
like the recreation reissue watches that I want, I appreciate that they're very close to the original, but then at this point, it's like, it's actually cheaper to go vintage in some points, and
yeah,
maybe not in this particular case, but like, yeah, $200 for this. I think you
yeah,
really need to be into the history and brand of G-Shock to go for this instead of the more modern versions that are cheaper.
yeah. And for a slightly more modern design, like the core square design, you can get the GW 5610U, which is the
Mhm.
standard fully loaded multi-band 6 tough solar square. That is going to be under $100 for, I think you can it goes on sale like all the time. It's
Yeah,
always
it's like
available.
$100. Yeah,
Yeah, and it looks exactly, almost
it looks.
exactly like this.
Yeah,
Pretty much
exact. Yeah,
indistinguishable from 10 meters. So you get all of the possible fully loaded, everything you could want in a G-Shock for half the price. So this is definitely, I think, a collector's piece.
hmm,
And yeah, I don't think I have enough resonance with the original 5000C to want to collect this. I would still probably go with a 5610 if given a choice,
yeah,
just for all of the reasons for tough solar and all of that. So yeah, it is a tough sell, but it has sold. So what do I know from the
sure.
collectors? It
And if
has sold
anything,
out.
I think it's just another interesting example of we're getting to the point where some of these designs are coming full circle and we're just reissuing stuff. And it's interesting to see that happen in the EDC space. And we keep talking about like, oh, we should bring this back, or I wish they made these. And maybe this will be a common trend since EDC is so young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
As just an industry, maybe we don't have these iconic pieces yet, like you might have in watchmaking or something. So maybe eventually we'll see, oh, this is the reissue of the first version of the 511 Tactical Rush 24. Like, whoa,
nice
you know.
anniversary edition 50
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Although
So,
we have seen like the Benchmade 710 that came
yeah,
out, which was a
that's true.
recreation
That's
of,
true.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
Leatherman 100, like the original Leatherman. What was it? The was it the PST, which was
PST, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then Victorinox did their
The,
125-year
that's true.
old.
Those are
Yeah,
older. Yeah, those are older brands, more of the legacy brands, I would say
true.
in EDC. But I
Yeah,
mean, we're even getting to the point where okay, we not us like literally, but everydaycarry.com turning 15. Yikes, bro. That's by the time this episode comes out, I think. Or maybe a
is
couple
that
days
senior high
after something.
school?
Dude, I was no, I was a senior in high school. No, I was a freshman in college when I started it, but yeah, that would be a sophomore in high school now. The blog would be just the awkward teen years. And then
Awkward
at the
teen.
same time, so like Ridge Wallet also they came out with their like anniversary Kickstarter edition, like the original Kickstarter version of the wallet. They had that. So I guess there is some precedent for
Yeah,
EDC gear being reissued and retroed and stuff like that.
especially since EDC is peaking, right? Like we said
Oh
last
sure,
week.
yeah, yeah. No innovation to be found.
Yeah.
Just old is good, new is bad. So there we go.
What we need is some Benchmade 42s to come back. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So cool. So nice. news cycle for the week. If you want to catch up with those, we'll have more details on everydaycarry.com. All right, let's jump into our questions for the week. And these are pretty good. Where do you want to start here, Mikey?
Raven the Pirate, I'm a big fan. I have
Yeah, shout outs
maybe
to mhm,
what's his I forgot his name.
Sam.
Sam. That's right.
Sam,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have maybe 0.05% of his entire EDC collection, so
Uh huh.
he is he is the EDC guy. Yeah.
Yeah, check him out on Instagram, Raven
Yeah.
underscore the pirate. It's just hilarious content.
And
But yeah,
amazing
so
photos. Yeah.
Raven the yeah, exactly. Raven the pirate asks, "What's that one item you know you'll never use but still carry anyway?"
Never use. That's an interesting qualifier. Do you carry
Yeah,
something that you never use?
practically never. Yeah, and it makes me kind of hate myself for it. So I'll go first then if you don't
Okay,
have an answer.
sure.
But it's basically like an actual digital camera, right? So
Hmm.
I'm supposedly a creative person, supposedly into photography. I collect all these cameras and stuff. So I should carry one because the best camera is the one you carry with you. So I
Hmm.
should have one of these with me. And I think, oh, yeah, I'll carry it with me. And then I'll see something that I'm inspired by and then take a photo of it. That never happens. And sometimes if it does, I just reach for my iPhone. Like, what am I doing, bro? So that is one of those instances where like I'll carry around the camera and I'm just like, I'm probably not even going anywhere worth taking a picture of, you know what I mean? So that's one thing I have, I would say. It's not core EDC, but it is my EDC.
Fair, fair, fair. I have gone through the gamut of the other stuff. I've
Hmm.
carried like fidget toys, I've carried commemorative coins, I've carried random keychain stuff. There's a whole big movement going on right now. The You attach the Labubu monsters onto your bag. There's that whole
Okay.
move. I don't know if you is that going on in the States right now, because it's totally huge over here at the
I've
moment.
never heard, like, speak English, bro. Like,
You've never
those
seen the
words are not in the Bible. I have
you've
no
never
idea what you're
seen the
talking about.
Labubu. They look exactly, well, not exactly. They look
Can I
like the
safely
troll
Google
dolls.
Le Boo Boo?
Labubu. Here we go. Let's risk it. Let's risk it all.
Oh,
Demonetization.
okay. They're like blind box things,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Blind box collectibles. Okay,
And they're
that
they're
makes sense that it's trending. Yeah,
they're
blind box
playing off
stuff is.
the ugly cute monster gotcha type thing, and
Mhm.
they come in all sizes, from the keychain size that people are attaching to their bags all the way to the full sized bear brick sized
Okay, but these
versions of
aren't
it.
actual. Oh, sorry, I was gonna say actual EDCers. No, these aren't like core people that would identify as EDCers. This is just the general public.
Dude, I've seen it
Both.
everywhere, men and
Okay.
women, old and
Hmm.
young. It's just become a whole thing. People are making memes off of people called like the whole shebang.
Okay,
But
maybe that's not happening in the states. So
yeah, not yet.
maybe I'll
Maybe
I'll
it's,
keep my eyes
yeah,
open. Yeah.
yeah. uh I don't really have an answer. It's been so long that I've carried anything superfluous, even down to the I I don't know if jewelry would even count, which is a new thing I'm doing, but I'm technically using it by wearing it.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
not
that's that
functional.
doesn't count.
Yeah,
How about this? Maybe to make it easier, of the stuff you do carry, even if everything does get used, which one gets used the least and why?
the knife. Sadly, the knife.
Damn. All right.
Oh man, calling
Keeping
myself
it
out.
real.
Yeah, flashlight's definitely the most used. Watch and
Yeah.
everything else always on wrist and stuff. Fast, but knife, yeah, generally knife I use at home or in the hotel room when I'm traveling, because I
Hmm.
bought something and there's packaging to be dealt with. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
gosh,
If I
sorry to.
if I had yeah, if I had to answer for mine in that same framework, it would be my Swiss Army knife, the Victorinox Classic SD in
Mm.
ALOX, but specifically on that, probably the driver slash nail file thing. I've like not used that once. And
Fair.
I don't know if I've used the knife on it either because I on the same keychain I'll have the box cutter, the Ghost TI from
Yeah,
Game
yeah,
Fusion.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I'm usually using that to open boxes or just like a quick cutting job because I could just mess that up. So
yeah.
I haven't had to use even the scissors. I don't think I've used, but
Oh
it's
man, we're sorry,
I
Sam.
still I still want to keep it on there. Yeah.
We're sorry. And Sam is like a super ultra knife guy, and we're saying
Uh-huh.
knife is their least used and least functional out of our whole EDC. But
But
yeah,
doesn't that say something that like even if we know we're not going to use it, we're still loyal and we're going to carry that, you know?
fair. Yeah, absolutely. I still
Maybe not.
feel
Maybe that's
yeah.
just like a brain dead take. I don't know.
But yeah, it is what it is.
Hmm.
Flashlight most used, knife least used, but still used on that scale. But yeah, I generally have gone away from like the pocket trash quote unquote stuff and the
Hmm.
commemorative stuff. Um I'm lean towards functional or wearable is my
Right.
preference now. So yeah, I've kind of thinned down the herd in that sense. But yeah, so that's our kind of answers for that one. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So maybe that'll change. Okay, next question then.
You want to do back the blue?
So Back the Blue asks, what would you carry for a zombie apocalypse? A little more of a fun question.
Hmm. There is a so I there was a time a while ago when I was reading up on the best weapons for the apocalypse, for like
Hmm.
specifically the zombie apocalypse. And you know what the consensus was? Have you ever do you know what a monk spade is?
A
It is
monk spade?
a monk spade. So what it is, it's I believe it's a
A
Shaolin
gardening
weapon.
tool?
No, it's a staff with like a sharp shovel at the end of it. So why that is the best zombie weapon is number one, it has range. Number two,
Okay.
it has a sharp, big edge to it, so you can use it to decap the zombies.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So to avoid demonetization for the
yeah.
people listening, I'm not going to show what a
No,
monk
no.
spade is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it is a
to describe
traditional
it, it's
weapon. Yeah,
like a long staff with a sharp spatula slash spade slash shovel type thing on one end. And
yeah.
then is the other side like
It's
a
a
half
fork.
moon that's also bladed?
Oh yes,
It's
it's
like an
either
edged half moon.
yeah, it's an edged half moon, which sometimes I've seen as a fork, so you can use it to
Okay.
like wrangle stuff.
Okay.
But besides the point,
Yeah.
that's I just wanted to point out that factoid that I read a lot that that is the most effective physical non ammunition based weapon in a zombie apocalypse.
I
So
see.
my actual answer is anything that has a bit more range. So probably like a bolo type thing or a machete. Um,
Uh-huh.
we have traditional. We call it the ginunting, which is the traditional angled bolo that the Philippine military use. I think that would be my ideal blade for the zombie apocalypse because you can use it for utility, you can use it
Mm,
for defense against the zombies. There is some practical use to it. It's based the whole martial arts of Kali and Pakiti Tirsha is
right.
based on that particular weapon with its angle. It's like a big bolo. So that would be my ideal zombie apocalypse weapon. I think for the my carry for there.
Nice. That's a
Yeah,
very Filipino answer.
yeah.
What would my carry look like? Dude, probably the same because I'd be like, I'm, I've had a good life. I think I'm gonna just die here. I think I'm gonna just become a zombie.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Just join
So
the meta. Just make some friends and
yeah,
hang
but
out.
but my initial thought, if like I took it more seriously, and this is only based on my knowledge of playing Left 4 Dead, is like I
Okay.
would hide in a closet and then I would have a shotgun and then I would just spam the melee button and then like for some reason it would stun lock the zombies and I'd be safe until the
Right, right.
objective time is over.
I
So
thought I thought you were gonna say I'm just gonna save one for myself, and then just when the time comes, just yeah, that's the ideal carry. Just
yeah,
saving one for yourself. But yeah,
no.
cool. Yeah,
So
interesting question. Yeah.
yeah, I do know that like culturally that I think those big machetes are called. I don't know. Actually, this is like risky territory. I'm not gonna get into it, but
Yeah. We can dance around it.
yeah, yeah, we can dance around it. Fun question. I think hopefully you guys just like have fun thinking about that. Maybe we don't want to actually discuss it outright because, as hypothetical as it is, you never know like what will get flagged. So
We
let's
never see
just
the zombie themed EDC stuff anymore. The bright neon green with a splatter on
mm,
it. That
yeah.
whole there was a whole period where everybody was making one of those, and we don't see
Yeah.
those anymore. Yeah.
Maybe because it was cool at first because it was so different, and then if everybody made it and got one, then it becomes not different,
Yeah. True.
you know?
Yeah.
So I think what replaced that, maybe the like Desert Warrior motif,
Hmm.
you know?
Fair. Yeah. True. True.
I think that's kind of the new zombie thing. It's like colorful and interesting and cool. So
And more wholesome. Yeah.
a little bit more wholesome. Yeah. Dude, I'm so hungry. So we'll move on to the next question instead of
Sure.
talking about Desert Warrior. Okay. Uh Francisco Spines, our hidden secret executive producer who writes
Our
all these
industry
questions
plant.
apparently. Yeah. Says, for electronic EDCs, do you prefer rechargeable internal batteries or replaceable? Does it matter? This is something I feel we can actually give a real answer to,
True.
right? I think we're qualified to do this.
Yeah.
So, what I would say, if it's something that you would want to have on ready to go all the time, it's better to have replaceable batteries,
Mm.
right? So, two examples of this would be a flashlight in emergencies. If you have a power outage and your flashlight is also dead, then you're just gonna have to, where are you gonna plug it in to like recharge the internal cell, right? So
Yeah.
that's why it's cool when you have something like this Rovivon E8, which takes a AAA like cell, but it also has a built-in lithium battery. So this is kind of like that dual fuel type of approach that you see in some
Mm.
other lights. I think Streamlight does that as well. Um, but that kind of avoids that predicament where you do get the convenience of just plugging it in USB-C rechargeable, and you don't have to buy new replaceable batteries like you would. But in the case that you do need to, you could go to the convenience store, hardware store, or whatever, and then just at checkout pick up some AAA cells and then pop that in, and you're ready to go full charge, right? Similar thing would be like, imagine if you're a kid and you're playing your Game Boy and then the batteries run out and you have to sit there and charge and like wait to play again. No, you go into the living room, you find the TV remote control, you pull out the batteries from that, put them
And you
back
get
in the
yelled
Game
at.
Boy. Yeah. And you get yelled at, like if you're lucky, you get yelled at in the Filipino household. But yeah, so that's the use case, I think, for using the replaceable batteries. It's just like things that you want ready to go as soon as possible. And I know that there's like technology where, fast charging exists and it gets easier, but even then, like, we talk about on the show so much how we hate the Apple Watch. Like, I hate when it dies and I don't want to charge it because I'm trying to go to sleep or something, right?
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
in
but
a
for
zombie
electronic
apocalypse,
EDCs, oh sure,
in a
yeah,
zombie
see,
apocalypse, you're
yeah,
gonna
the
want to
zombies will
raid
not
the
wait for you. Yeah,
yeah, you're gonna want to raid the drugstore and pick up all of the batteries there. And if you have a rechargeable flashlight with a non-replaceable battery, you're wasted resource. But
yeah,
for me, I like most of my stuff to have removable, replaceable batteries. I did talk about that I'm using a rechargeable one, but 99% of my flashlights have
hmm,
replaceable standard batteries. I do prefer the CR123 battery just for in terms of voltage per uh, compared to capacity.
yeah,
But everything else, I like my keyboard. My wireless keyboard can take double A's. My mouse can take double A's. I like stuff with replaceable batteries specifically because they're gonna last longer. They're not gonna have a degrading lithium ion battery which renders them less and less effective over time. And
hmm,
I can enjoy my stuff for longer. And if I take care of them, they're gonna last a lifetime. So that's
right.
just that simple fact that they're not gonna degrade because you just replace the battery.
Yeah, you're
And
not a fan of the spicy pillow in your EDC.
no, they're definitely not. No
Okay.
spicy pillows. But yeah, so there's a lot of, in addition to what Bernard said for the benefits, yeah, I just like because I generally like to take care of my stuff and I can make it last a lot longer if you can replace the degraded parts to it. So especially the batteries. So I am hoping that in the near future we find a new technology that makes an improvement over lithium ion because that's just not sustainable and it's been around for what 30 years already.
Uh
We're
huh.
I'm waiting for the Iron Man arc reactor just to make
Yeah.
everything obsolete and have pure clean energy that's completely renewable and all of that. So still waiting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm a little bit more realistic, I would say. So I'm not waiting for that. But I think, I don't know if this exists, but what I would like is something that combines both, where it's, I guess it kind of does exist, where you have the battery cell itself that has a USB port in it and you could
Mm,
charge the cell, but then plop the cell in. You know what I mean?
mm,
Yeah, like
yeah.
rechargeable 18650s or something.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wish that was a little bit more streamlined and like made a little bit easier and just replace everything so that, because I'm imagining, if I have my smartphone or something, right? And I've had it for many years and you look and the battery health is like 70%, you're
Ooh.
just, it's cooked. I wish you could just easily swap in a new battery, but not at the intervals that you would with a regular replaceable battery, right? So it's like semi permanent or like semi replaceable. I don't know. We'll see.
We
But
just
yeah,
want better battery life, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that, especially for flashlights, that's a very divisive topic. So I'm curious what
Mm,
people think in the comments
yeah.
for their EDC, if they like the convenience, air quotes, of rechargeables versus the reliability and long term use of
Dude, can you
what
imagine if they made
primaries.
like a new iPod again and then it takes like 18650s? Oh my goodness. That would be sick.
That'd be crazy. Yeah, should make it a shuffle. Anyway, um, then you could have a full candy bar EDC with like an OTF knife and a rectangle
Mm,
flashlight, and then a iPod shuffle. All right.
tasty.
Okay. So let's jump into one last question. This is from Dave underscore the thick one. Says,
Mm,
can you ever find the end all be all EDC bag?
no.
No.
Quick answer, no.
Okay, next question. Thank you. Yeah, I really don't think you can. I think
No.
we've talked about this before where like you're going to be searching for that perfect bag. It's not going to last. Either your changes or taste will, or sorry, your needs or your taste will change over time, or the bag it just won't last long enough because things just break down. I don't think it'll be possible to find an end all be all unless you can kind of make your own
Your own. Yeah.
and you repair it yourself and you really know, and then you don't live much longer after you make it, then that will be the end all. Yeah.
What's funny is
So
I've seen people try and answer this question. They
mhm,
end up with 50 bags and then they make one custom bag and even that they're not happy with.
mhm.
So it's it's bags especially. I don't know what it is. Bags it's just nearly impossible to find the perfect thing. That's why you just cover your bases with different bags. I think that's the best thing you can do, honestly. Because one EDC bag with all of the things that can go into it and just the bag itself, nah, I don't think so. Impossible, I'd say.
One
Impossible.
idea does come to mind, maybe just like the classic like JanSport kind of day pack silhouette. Maybe that actually has been the end all be all of all time, and we
Maybe it's already
just,
solved.
yeah, maybe it's already solved, which is why like it's still there and like sells the most. But
Hmm.
we have the skill issue where we're like, oh, but I needed to do this. Nah, dude, just lock in, just like use that, figure it out. I don't know. That's what everyone else is doing apparently. So maybe that's an option. But yeah, I think it's gonna be really hard to find that perfect end all
Yeah,
be all
really,
for
really hard,
bags. Yeah.
honestly. Cool.
All right. Well, I wish we had a a better answer for that. That would be, I don't know, a little bit more hopeful. But
I would say it's the Yeti Bozeman.
okay,
I think that's the
okay,
end of the
Mikey.
LEDC back. Yeah.
Sure. All right. We should move on then to our pocket dumps. Thank you guys so much for the questions. If you want a question answered on the show every Monday, we'll put up an Instagram story and then you can respond to that sticker with your own question. And that's how you end up on the show. So thanks again to everyone who asked the question. And we appreciate the new askers too, as well as the old ones. But let's move on to the pocket dumps for this week. So first, we got one from Dan here. So they're an analyst in Ohio.
Mhm.
They said, my daily loadout focuses on items I actually use on a daily basis. I have many multi tools, pocket knives, and flashlights in my display case. Sounds like Mikey. But I find I return to this combination for its lightweight functionality.
High
Nice.
speed, low drag.
Yeah, and what do we got in here? We got a Jetstream whistle, a Groove Life wallet, Key Smart key organizer, Phoenix PD25R flashlight, the Gerber dime, Spyderco grasshopper. Man, I haven't seen one of these in a
Yeah,
while.
that's why I picked
On
this
the
up.
Mighty Hank. Yeah.
Yeah, I classic Spyderco. I love the all of the stainless ones, the small stainless ones.
Mm-hmm.
That takes me back so much
Yeah.
because I wanted all of them. The
So simple.
grasshopper. Yeah,
Yeah. Slip joint. It's Spyderco ergonomics.
yeah.
No
Classic,
nonsense.
ugly, ugly, cool, cool,
Mm-hmm.
cool. Yeah, and yeah, pair it with the classic Gerber dime and the super reliable Phoenix flashlights. Still one of the
Mm-hmm.
better brands out there, most reliable ones, I'd say. And yeah, how often do you think he uses the whistle?
That's actually what I was thinking right now. I was looking at that thing. I was like tuning out the rest of the carry. I'm just looking at whistle, and I'm just like, what do you use the whistle for and when?
Speaking of, what's the one item you know you'll never use?
But you really want to. You're just so compelled
Just
to
on the
blow that
train, just
whistle all
like
the time. Yeah.
just side eye people. I'm gonna
Uh
do it.
huh.
I'm gonna do it.
Said, don't test me. I got the jet
Yes.
scream whistle. No, I don't know. Maybe it makes sense. If you're like out in the wilderness or like away from a bunch of people and you just kind of that's what whistles are for, right?
Yeah,
So yeah,
signaling people. Yeah, or maybe
yeah.
maybe we're just assuming. Maybe Dan lives in a kind of like a unsavory place, and just wants that extra bit of security.
Like get some attention, yeah,
Yeah,
when needed help or something.
yeah,
um
yeah.
yeah,
You know me.
so
I like to live in places where it's dark and dimly lit, and the infrastructure
true,
is bad, just so I can
true.
use my flashlight. So
mm,
deliberate choices there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and then base is covered,
Yeah.
I would say.
Other than that, I just like the walk back memory lane with the stainless spider coast slip joints.
Mm-hmm.
I just love, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all of those. The man bug, the grasshopper. Uh, what was the one you had? The cricket. The cricket is the lucky
No,
one
no,
though.
no. Cricket was big. I think it was just called the bug.
The bug.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but it was so small that I used it as a bead, like a lanyard
Oh,
pull.
nice.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I would have a knife and then actually that's not true. I put it on my Nintendo 3DS XL on the little charm like attachment lanyard point, but I was basically
Mm,
using it like a bead. So that way even on
like a
my
labubu.
Nintendo, even on my Nintendo, I would have an EDC. So it had a little slip joint knife on it.
How very ahead of your time.
Yeah, I know. Uh, and then now we're seeing people put consoles in their EDCs. It's like kind of full circle. But
Now it's the console hanging off of their tactical bag and stuff.
dude, I might do that. I have enough that I could do that in my collection, so that'd be pretty cool.
What would be the
Uh,
smallest console you can attach to attach to stuff?
Mine would
3DS?
be the no Game
Oh
Boy
no, the
Micro.
SP. Game.
No,
Is it
Micro's even
smaller than that?
smaller.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Cool,
yeah,
cool,
for
cool.
sure. Anyway,
Anyway,
cool. Not to take away from Dan's analyst carry in Ohio,
yeah,
but great set of gear here. And I think on the last episode we talked, or maybe a couple episodes ago, we talked about like, oh, best EDC under $50. Like everyone's like, dude, Gerber Dime has to be in that answer. So there you
yeah.
go. Shout outs to the Gerber Dime.
I actually picked up a Gerber dime recently. I've never owned one. All of this time, I've never owned a Gerber dime because I've always
Oh,
reverted to the classic SD
hmm,
Victorinox. So I've
yeah,
never had the chance or never looked for an opportunity to own a Gerber dime. So I'm looking at one right now. So I'm gonna try and carry that
okay,
for next week. Yeah,
nice. Thank you, Dan, for the inspiration. You've already influenced Mikey. So
too easy.
say yeah, somehow
Say
retroactively you
less.
influence them. Yeah. All right. So thank you for this. Move on to the next submission. This a host.
Oh, speaking
Speaking
of,
of okay. Speaking of consoles and EDCs, this is a pocket dump from Gabe, aka Hard Dad Life.
mm,
Uh
word.
hard ad life. Sorry, not hard dad life.
Just made
Uh,
some all sorts of assumptions there.
I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, so
Uh,
Hard Dad Life says, I'm a dad with two young kids, okay, living in Quebec, Canada. I'm pretty new in the EDC community. Welcome. I started this like 3 years ago before realizing that it was actually a thing. I do marketing and work daily in a quiet office environment. It's crazy how many times the setup saved the day for me or for someone I was with. I fix my kids' stuff, keep doing small home repairs, change batteries on the go, photo shoots, and today I actually repaired the office's printer with it. Please don't tell
hmm.
IT. Ha. Um, the thing is, I know it's overkill, but it's all so pocketable, and most of this is pretty affordable. The next step, a thing that makes my keys silent, so we can help with that. And then Leatherman bit extender, pocket screwdriver in the mail. Can't wait to add it to the kit. Shout outs to their incredible design. So Kristen Van Pardons. Nice. I love this chill community. Thanks for your podcast. Shout outs to us on the podcast. So thank you, Gabriel. Hard ad life. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be hard. It's actually hard
Yeah,
dad life.
probably a typo. Yeah. Let
Okay.
us know. Let us know, Gabe. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for the submission. Thank you for making the
Hmm.
submission and contributing to and reading and watching the show and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what do we got in here? Starting off, keychain platform, right? So the alpaca hub. That's like I think this is a fidlock
Yeah.
magnetic
It's a
attachment.
fig
Yeah.
lock. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Then a bunch of sort of individual quick releases using Night Eye's S Beaner micro locks.
Hmm.
This will be hard to silence. I am telling you now. This will
Aren't
be hard to
those?
silence.
Oh, they're all stainless. They're not the rubber
The
tip ones.
plasticky,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Even then, you just have so many
Ooh,
moving parts. That's what makes
true.
it difficult to silence when you add those moving parts.
Jangle
It,
City.
I've probably like talked about this at some point where it's the trade off, right, of quick
Hmm.
release versus silence. You kind of need them all consolidated for them to be
Yeah.
silent. I think anytime you add an extra layer of hardware, it just makes it more complex and jangly.
Right.
But and then finishing out the keychain setup is the Olight iMini 2 on there. And they've got their Leatherman removable bit driver kit with the extender. So that's up here. And a 711L mini ratchet wrench, Next Tool multi tool,
Hmm.
Victorinox Huntsman, and then a
Classic.
Chipolo card tracker. Wow, they got a bunch of stuff in this Cozy Bait EDC pouch. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. But uh, aside from that, in here is a metal comb. So this is a Chicago comb.
Chicago Code. Yeah.
And then for their tech, this is kind of like a Game Boy Advance SP, but it's the emulator. This is I think of the Anbernic
Yeah.
RG35XX SP.
Yep.
So more modern emulator version. You could tell because it has like the 4 buttons and stuff. It's a little bit thicker, but
Hmm.
very fun. I've seen a bunch of these in EDCs already, so
Yeah.
makes sense for when you
Really
have that
cool.
hard dad life. Have something to entertain the kids and yourself. Yeah.
True. 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 I'm not familiar with the game he's playing either. Arninit? Earninit? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It looks fun.
Yeah.
I like the art, but yeah.
Yeah, so nice combination of stuff. Like he said, very affordable. The jangling of the keys is like Bernard said, that's gonna be hard unless you consolidate into a keychain system like the
Hmm.
Rich Key Case or something
Hmm.
similar. Problem
Yeah, the
is, yeah,
previous the previous Gary had a Key Smart. It's like similar thing.
problem
Yeah.
is you are consolidating a bunch of stuff here, including the impossible car key fob. That's just asking for trouble. You also have the flashlight there. Yeah, you could silence the keys, but then you might need to move other functions around and have the key fob separate. Maybe you just have different
Hmm.
FID locks for the Alpaca hub system to make just have that be the modular system and have your keys just be silenced by a key organizer. So that's one. I also appreciate the more affordable tools. Next Tool is a popular alternative to the bigger multi-tool brands. A lot
Hmm.
of different and affordable designs, so that's
Yeah, more
nice. Yeah,
affordable.
yeah. Paired with the Huntsman, which is the classic one, and the Chipotle card, the
This
Chipotle card,
yeah,
the Chipotle card.
that's 2 meals right there in your wallet.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, classic Chicago cone. Always a great recommendation for people looking for like a stylish stocking stuffer or like an everyday
Hmm.
gift. And it's nice and buy it for life type quality. So if you're looking for a comb for somebody, it's a nice like nice men's gift. I would say.
Yeah, it's very sturdy because
Yeah.
I would carry like a folding acetate comb by Kent,
Mm,
and
yeah.
that's like
That's
very
the other
hard to
classic.
EDC. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the other classic, but something metal unibody single piece, very robust, like robust enough to just throw in a wallet like that, and it's also very thin, right? So
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, these what's it called? The Victorinox Huntsman is also modded, by the way. Let's not forget that. So it's got the
Mm.
plus scales. So a few more implements, I think, going on in
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah. It might be
Yeah.
the pen. I think the pen is a
Hmm.
one of the main
Yeah.
additions. The one that's sticking out. Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. So.
Cool. And black and silver is always a winner in my book. If you're going,
Hmm.
since he went for that theme, and I like how everything fits. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. And yeah, thanks again for the submission, fully detailed explanation. We love to see it. We love to read it. So let us
Hmm.
know also if it's hard ad life or hard dad life. But thank you, Gabe, for the submission. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So let's move on to our last submission. And this is from Willem Luza, aka Willem Luza. uh, and they said they're
Willem Liz.
an audio video technician and mechanical engineering student based in Central Europe. They say, I need my tools to be functional and always within reach. I found the perfect sling bag with just the right number of pockets. Oh, so they figured out the end all be all. I
That it's that
customize
one.
it. Yeah, it's that one. It's right here. So I customize it with bright tape so I can navigate through even in dim environments. And I attach a carabiner for hanging keys when needed. My Leatherman has all the tools I might require. AirPods are crucial for times when I need to get things done while on call with support. And I'm on the phone almost all the time in case something happens. So I need a big battery and a backup just in case. I carry two wallets, one for situations when I need real cash and another when I want to travel light. My watch, a gift from my parents years ago, grows more special to me every day. The bracelet and necklace from my girl are also cherished gifts that I love and enjoy. That is tight. Yes.
Very
Um,
tight.
yeah. So in here, we got the Apple 13 Pro Max with the AirPods, as mentioned. The Orient Mako XL. That is the watch that they're cherishing. Leatherman Surge multi tool, and then a power bank, like they're mentioning, charger, fast charger, and then this branded Molly bag. So they've found their perfect bag, and then the Apple leather wallet on MagSafe.
Yes. What I like about this, because it just reminded me that I was next time I was gonna meet up with you, I wanted to buy you some traditional pearl jewelry because I think it would fit you. Just
You
completely
think
ten.
you think I would rock pearls?
I think so. I think it.
Yeah, I would rock pearls probably.
I
Yeah,
honestly
whatever.
think. I honestly think it would look good on you. To be honest, and Philippines is a nice place to buy them. We have a
Hmm.
thriving pearl jewelry industry. So, and
Yeah,
I think, and I've seen a lot of them, like some really, really nice ones. So, yeah, next time I see, I'll grab a couple of these for you. I may not be,
yeah.
your girl, but I'm your boy. So,
Okay, okay. Whatever you want to be to me, Mikey, that's okay too. I
yeah,
accept you for who you are. But
yeah,
um, I would say, like, I think for the younger, yeah, they're younger than the viewers of this show most
yeah.
likely. But like, I'm seeing younger guys like Gen Alpha, Gen Z, or whatever. Like, they're rocking pearls now. It's like it's
It's
fine.
the
Uh,
whole Harry Styles effect, right? He was
yeah,
the one
yeah,
who,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but I think it's very cool that also they're acknowledging in their EDC these gifts, and even if they're not like the most functional, like the bracelet and necklace or whatever, like that has some value to them sentimentally. It's from their girl,
yes.
so they're wearing them. Sick.
And then paired
Same
with
with the
the
watch. Yeah,
watch from the parents, yeah.
yeah, and then Orient makes. If you don't know Orient, they make really good Japanese budget watches. Like they're really good in that budget tier. Um,
They're now owned
so
by Seiko, aren't they?
I think so. It's either Seiko or Citizen.
Right,
Um,
right.
like just
Or
one
Seiko
of
owns
like
all
the
three.
yeah, yeah, it's just something like that. I feel like I should know this just like as a Japanese gear nerd and Seiko fanboy. I should have that off the top of my head. But
You can't see
um,
these brands from the top of the Grand Seiko Ivory Tower, unfortunately. Yeah.
if you know, you know,
If you
that's
know, you
just,
know. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, very cool. And then it just makes sense to have like this tech focused carry. And then I also appreciate the use of high vis tape here so that they can get
Underrated.
through their bag. Yeah, get through their bag when
Underrated.
it's dark. They can see which zippers are what for what pocket, right? It just makes sense for the low vis, low light situations.
And Vault is such a great color. Like
Yeah, yeah,
highlighter green is just the best against black.
right.
Absolutely.
But I would say if they're open to feedback, maybe just carry the glow in the dark flashlight. You know, like a viewer had a couple episodes ago. They had like a Rovivon with a glow in the dark body because they were all. I think they were an AV tech or
Mm,
like a stage tech or something, and it's like
yeah.
you're always working in the dark, and it's easier to locate stuff. So yeah, well, it's already great that you're modding your bag with the high vis tape. Probably could be cool to add the flashlight, right? And then also
Also
you can loom
sick
up
carabiner.
your Orient.
Also
Oh,
sick carabiner. Like
yeah.
the ultimate load carrying
Mm,
locking carabiner. As far away
yeah.
from the night eyes little tiny S lock binders
Uh-huh,
as you can
uh-huh.
possibly get. But yeah, really cool.
Nice. So that's my take on this. And I also appreciate just like if you know you're on the phone, that's like a big part of your day, just have the backup for it. Just have the power on deck. So
Yeah. Cool.
nice.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Bilem, for the submission. And then if you guys want to have your EDC showcased on the show, you can hit up everydaycarry.com and then click the submit your EDC, or you can check our show notes for a link, or send us an email. And we'll try to get you sorted here.
Or just add
Um,
me on Discord. I'm easy to
oops.
to get in touch with.
That just about wraps it up for today's episode. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Hit the subscribe, share with a friend, and follow us on our socials. If you want to be part of our EDC community, feel free to hop into our Facebook group or Discord server for more real time discussion with other EDCers. And lastly, if you have any feedback for us or questions you want answered on the show, you can shoot us an email at podcast@everydaycarry.com. So thank you so much for listening to Carry the Way. I'm Bernard.
And I'm Mikey.
And until the next one, peace.